and welcome to IRLS 560, class number 4. We'll be talking about selection. And basically, selection is the heart of building a library collection. It really is taking information and about the community, the resources, and putting together that collection. So basically, what we'll be doing is, after securing a list of potential material items, a person or a group assesses the worth of those various titles So what we'll be talking about is a little bit how to actually go about doing that. Now, more often than not, a library makes an assessment on materials based on published information rather than the actual physical item of the book or whatever. Most libraries lack the staff resources or the time to secure those copies, or even the vendor authorization to take a look at all those copies. So let's talk a little bit about value-oriented selection and demand-oriented. Basically, value-oriented selection is really when selectors seek the best new and older items to add to a collection. Typically, they look for authorities and authoritative review sources that are likely to identify the best of the best materials. There may be little interest in what's hot or popular, demand-oriented selectors take a look at what's likely to be popular or in demand soon. They really want to have what people want just before they ask for it. This is similar to someone that would buy for a retail outlet. Now, in order for the avoidance of that out of stock from a vendor that demand-oriented selectors may run into, they attempt to buy materials before they become popular. And if they don't, there's little point in actually ordering a popular item, because having it sitting on the shelf when interest has waned, and it's now a shelf sitter, isn't any good. So they typically migrate towards review sources with pre-publication information and reviews that focus on popularity, such as Publishers Weekly. Since its audience is the buyer for the retail bookstore, and usually includes information about advertising budget, number of titles in print, any upcoming concepts or ideas for where it's going to be marketed, whether it's going to wind up being on a TV show or something like that. Which brings us to the want stimulators. Now, it's not enough to know which item is believed to be popular, but the demand-oriented selector should also be aware of events in the community that are likely to stimulate demand for a particular item or class of items. For an example, an interview with an author on a morning TV program may cause people to visit their library and ask for that particular work. I mean, we've all seen that happen with Oprah, which is now, when Oprah first started, she really wasn't linked in with libraries at all. So libraries actually got slammed when the first couple books were announced on Oprah. So now all of that's taken care of and is actually in the mix. Now, one of the things that can also help in this, in terms of just trying to purchase materials, is because trying to get the most bang for your buck, there is the McNaughton plan, which is a leased plan where you actually lease copies of a bestseller, and then you return it when you're done with it. And then that book is sold by someone else to another source. So it helps in the weeding process or the deselection process, as well as getting you your bulk of titles right up front. Now, there's a level of awareness that just because you're an information professional, it's going to be assumed that you know how to identify and evaluate the most appropriate information sources. It's assumed that you have a systematic program to keep up with the change in your external and internal environment. You know your current collection, you know your current community and how it's changing, and you know how the profession is changing. And you're familiar with the present and likely future change in information technology. Now, there may be some problems in that you may have a lack of time, a lack of resources, a lack in interest in one of the topics, or just a lack of experience or knowledge to be able to keep up with it. Or there may just be the simple fact that there may be too much to consider or keep up with. So one of the things which you'll also be doing for next week is creating your own current awareness program. Now, there's really no wrong or right way to do this. You really just should find something that works for you and keep working on that. Begin small with a handful of resources and do it, continue to do it, and modify when you need to, and build on the things that are working for you, as well as continue talking to people, because they will bring things that you hadn't thought of or maybe unaware of. So constantly keep talking to people about those sources that you're looking for. Now, some of the concepts that we'll be dealing with in collection development are standing order, approval plan, blanket order. Now, basically, a standing order is normally placed for a series, such as literary criticism or even an almanac. Something that you know is going to come out on a regular basis. You don't necessarily need to keep track of exactly when it's coming out to let the vendor know to send it to you. So you just basically tell the vendor, when this title comes out, send it to me. Now notice that is something that's pre-approved, so it's like you're telling them, I want this title. Now when you get into a blanket order, that's a little different. That's used more by academics, where you will take and blanket a entire subject. So say you wanted to do all books about politics in Latin America, or all books for undergraduates. You could put that stipulation in, and then you would just get all those titles. Now, an approval plan is something that allows the library to examine items before they decide to buy. They're not orders, but they're actually sending you the physical item. So, and with that, there's a certain level of, if you start returning too many things, they're going to come back and say, you know, we need to re-examine this because of the cost of them getting the books selected, sent to you, and then you send them back. So that's why some organizations deal with approval a lot and some don't. It's just a matter of preference. Now, some other things are centralized selection, which is where you have an office in your library that does selection, and it's pretty much self-contained.